Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, New Life Pentecostal Church, Albany, Georgia. This book, I think I read it a couple times at least back in the day. One of my favorite teachers, Chuck Missler, I used to listen to his tapes vociferously from Firefighters for Christ. I don't know how many of you remember Firefighters for Christ. We'd pass out cassettes free of charge. And Chuck Missler, unreal teacher, used to be in naval intelligence, if I'm not mistaken. And this book, The Magog Invasion, he meticulously shows that Magog is Russia. And that Ezekiel 38 and 39, I'll just show you some things on the inside of the book while I'm talking here, that Russia, that there is evidently some future invasion of Russia, Turkey, Iran, and Libya coming on Israel. And that this is prophesied in Ezekiel 38 and 39, and that there is a limited nuclear exchange of Russia with Sheba, Dedan, and the young lions thereof, which would be Australia, the isles that dwell carelessly far off in the seas, which he would say would be Australia, New Zealand, and the young lions thereof would be from Britain. Sheba and Dedan would be the United States. And so maybe that's the peace and safety, and then sudden destruction comes on them. And reading Ezekiel 38 and 39, there does seem to be some evidence that there is a nuclear exchange there. As a matter of fact, I've got a cousin who for a few years was the Spanish pastor at the Pentecostal of Alexandria. And he was a nuclear scientist in the military, working on nuclear submarines, and he came back to the Lord when he had a pastor show him Ezekiel 39, because he said, that's exactly my training on what to do in a nuclear exchange. And he said, well, the Bible's so that good, it's amazing. So whenever I read about, Russia being in Syria and stuff, and Iran, and I'm just like, Libya being taken over. So things I learned from this book, like the Great Wall of China used to be called the Wall of Magog. And so that kind of shows you that the place currently known as Russia has been known as Magog throughout history. And he goes into intricate, if you've ever listened to Chuck Missler, you know the detail he goes into and the brilliance he and Nancy had. I'm not sure if they're both dead or if just Chuck's dead or what, but I had the honor to meet them in the Christian Booksellers Association maybe once or twice, probably have something signed by him floating around here somewhere. But just an incredible guy, and his genius was unbelievable. And so he goes into meticulous detail, like the, let's see if we've got the bibliography back here in the back. Yeah, I mean, he is just using, this is just 2 pages of the voluminous bibliography, and he's in like journals of Near Eastern studies and all kinds of things doing this. So, and he's got quotes on the back here. Let me read you these quotes and who they're from. So like Robert Hunter, U.S. Ambassador to NATO, says this: a nuclear confrontation in the Middle East is not just likely, it is certain. Certain. It's just a matter of timing. Wow. When the Soviets were in power, we knew the procedures which were in place to prevent an accident. Today, we don't even know who has the button where the power grab's going on. Robin Beard, Assistant Secretary of Defense, NATO headquarters. Hal Lindsey, author of The Decade by the New York Times. If you've never been acquainted with the late great planet Earth, you really don't know what the 70s were all about. Because this was you'd just be shopping at Macy's or Sears, and they would have stacks of the late great planet Earth. I don't know how many, I think it's sold in the 20 millions. And the weapons which will be used at Armageddon are in inventory today. Hal Lindsey, he may still be on TBN or something like that. So like Intelligence Digest, Ancient Records of Assyria and Babylon, University of Chicago, W.F. Albright, Yahweh and the Gods of Canaan by Doubleday, Illustrated Bible Dictionary, H.L. Ellison, Illustrated Bible Dictionary, Leicester, InterVarsity, Leicester, 1980, Tom Jones, Paths and the Ancient Path. I mean, so this is the type thing that he is using to make his proposition. And so if Ezekiel 38 and 39 is dangling out there, and if it is not something that is after the millennium, because there's another instance after the millennium where there's an invasion, and some people think that it's like post-trib, that this happens right around the Battle of Armageddon. Some conflate it with the Battle of Armageddon, some somewhere in there. But many people say that this is going to be pre-tribulation, that this is going to happen. Who knows how close we are to that? Worth the read, even if you're not a Christian. Genius of a book. So God bless you. Talk with you later. Live for Jesus. Amen.